Alrighty. Okay, so welcome to the Grow Pair podcast. And today, I've got a good mate of mine, Jason van Zyl. Welcome, China.
Yeah, man. Welcome. Thanks for having us, bro.
It's a pleasure, dude.
I love the way you kickstart this thing. It's kind of like, just let's get into it, eh?
Yeah, sometimes I'll...
Want to do a test, do a voiceover. Let's go.
Yeah, I've streamlined the process. So the first couple of times it took a bit longer.
Yeah.
But now...
Just throw me into it.
Now it's like, okay, I've got my process down.
Everything's sorted. Now it's starting. It's happening.
Everything's working.
This is the vibe.
Yeah, sound check for the most part is pre-done.
Yeah, once that clap happens, bro, you're in it. Hey, that's recording, bro.
And it's funny, no one on that side hears the clap because it doesn't go into the podcast.
No, 100%. But I hear it.
You do.
I hear it, bro. That's like, we're starting.
I had someone, I can't remember who it was, but like in the beginning, I didn't tell people that I was going to clap, and I've started now telling people.
Yeah.
And I clapped, and the oak cucked himself. And he was just like, what are you doing?
Yeah, but it's kind of obscure. It's like, why are you clapping, dude? Like,
yeah.
Nobody knows your technical mind.
Yeah, what's the reasoning?
What's the purpose of the clap?
Yeah,
but there's a massive purpose for it, right?
Yeah.
So I can imagine, like, Desmond that's clapping, like, out of the blue. Like, what are you clapping for, bro? We haven't even started yet. No, that's starting.
Well, it's what it does is it helps me reference on the audio. So each camera plus these mics run at a slightly different speed when they're recording.
Yeah.
And so now I've got to match all of those up. Number one, to line it up so that it makes sense. Otherwise, it looks like one of those Chinese movies. You know, where like Oak's talking and his lips keep going. And that's what
Netflix is full of them, bro. And the minute I get to a movie that I'm so keen to watch, and I'm
cool.
like, right, this is going to be amazing. I get to it. I mean, there's this one Under Paris, this new shark movie.
Dude, I started
Same lip. I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah. I started it the other day. Same thing. I got like 30 seconds and I'm like, I heard it's good, but hey, man, I don't want to.
No,
I just don't want to do it.
I can't do it. Nah.
There's actually, it's funny enough, there's a lot of, I don't know if you ever, I'm trying to think if you were in the crowd, but Danielle Salmon, I don't know if you remember her. She was in Liberty.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah, she was in Liberty for a long time, but she'd worked with a bunch of voiceover artists.
Okay.
And so you get like all of these funny shows that are recorded wherever, and then her and her team or whatever else, or she worked for a company that did it.
Yeah.
But she reckons they would get in a room like this, with a bunch of mics like this, and they would watch this movie and they get given a character and they get given the lines, and then it's going off in whatever Pakistani, but they are, tuning in English to make the whole movie. And that's exactly what we're watching on those shows.
No. I can't do it, bro.
No.
I give up. I get so irritated.
Yeah. But every now and again, like the dubbing goes out. I really my internet was a bit bad a while back, and I'm watching a movie, or whatever, Avengers or whatever, and the sound goes off, and all it is a bit of a second.
Yeah, 100%.
And then I'm
it's
like
milliseconds.
No, stop, exit,
reload
the
fix
whole
this.
thing.
No, I can't watch the movie.
I thought I was the only one. My wife doesn't see it. Lee doesn't even see it.
The only one that I watched that was very similar to something like it, but it wasn't quite, because it was actually an Asian movie, and I think you know which one it is. And then they translated it, and I watched the whole series. I forget what the series name is, but I think you might know what it is. Green light, red light. Green light.
Oh, yeah.
What is that series called again?
Crap, man.
It will come to you.
Yeah,
but
that Korean, Korean game
was
show
the
thing.
Only one
I watched
that I watched.
I watched that one
from the beginning right to the end, one sitting, and loved every single minute of it.
Yeah. There was another one I watched as well, also Korean, but it was like, I don't want to say world's toughest person or something like that, but it was like they got a whole bunch of like 100 different people that were in gymnastics, powerlifting, body weight exercise guys, all this kind of thing. They got them all together and put them through like 10 or 15 different whatevers. And one, I think like the first challenge was just dead hang. Yes, and like it went through. That was also done in Korean, and I circled through it because I really enjoyed it. But dude, try to do that for a minute.
No, I try. That keyword being I try.
I don't know. I've seen you in the gym before. In fact, I've gymmed with you before and not been able to walk for a couple of days.
I've actually just started picking up training again, bro.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's we'll try to get into that a little bit. But yeah, no, it's mentally, bro, best thing ever.
Yeah,
Best thing ever, bro.
I find so like I started a while back. I wanted to do that 75 hard thing, and I did about a month.
I remember you telling me about it. Yeah,
yeah, and I did about a month of it, and then I got a migraine, and I was down for 4 days.
Yeah,
and that just broke
It's a
me.
bit of a setback.
And then since then, I've spiraled. I'm eating all rubbish and
Yeah.
not exercising, and I'm like, I had it perfect. I was exercising twice a day. I'm reading books. I'm doing all the stuff for 75 hard.
Yeah.
And then I had 4 really bad days, and then just I'm gone.
It's amazing how you can get into that mindset so quickly, and you pick up that discipline, bro.
Yeah.
And then something can just come upset your whole entire routine. And
Yeah.
then the thing is to get back into it is
Dude.
it's worse. It's
Yeah.
worse than the first time.
Yeah.
And it keeps getting harder and harder and harder.
Yeah.
And once you get into that repetition, bro, and into that spiral that you're talking about to get out of it,
Yeah.
bro, it's a mindset that's it takes
It's
too
so
much.
hard. And I try to do the carnivore things and try to eat like super
Yeah.
healthy meat,
Yeah.
eggs, cheese, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
And when
But
you're
you're
on
on the
it,
carnivore diet?
so I've been
Yeah?
so on and off.
Tell me a little bit about the carnivore diet,
On-
bro,
on and
because
off
it's
for almost
something
a year.
I've been wanting to do.
On and off for almost a year. It's hard. The first 2 weeks are
Not
a
easy,
nightmare. Yeah, first 2 weeks are a disaster. So I was looking at a bunch of stuff, and I watched this video. This guy was titled "What Vegetables Are Trying to Kill You,"
Yeah,
and he talks about how like plants have these defense mechanisms.
sure.
Right. So, and it's chemical defenses that they have and whatever else, and it stops it from, you don't want the elephant eating the amarula thing. So amarula trees have thorns. That's
Yes.
their protection. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, gotcha.
Other things, like you chow beans, what happens? Everyone knows. Musical fruit. The
Yeah.
more you eat, the more you toot.
Hallelujah.
Okay,
bro.
right. So now
Just not
that,
out your mouth. Eh?
yeah. So now that is a chemical reaction that the bean is doing to effectively stop you from wanting to eat it. Right. So now you get uncomfortable, you got a stomach cramp and and it's like, oh man, I don't want to eat beans again because my life is uncomfortable. And that's their protection mechanism. So and look, I'll have 1,000 people.
So I'm already sold on what you said.
Yeah. So
I'm already sold on it. That's done. Vegetables out.
So the vegetarians,
Meat in.
the vegetarians don't like me. Bro. Like, and so that was like the video that kind of got me.
You might just want to pre-warn the veggies over there that this is not a podcast to listen to.
What do you put?
Because we're selling meat here, bro.
With one of those parental guidance things, parental guidance, we talk about meat on this podcast. And so it made a bit of sense to me.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, cool. This is Kif. Let me try it. And we had been living by my butts, and we had just got our flat in Brackenfell. And so as we moved, like on the day we moved, I said to Lee, I'm like, okay, that's it. No carbs, no vegetables, no sweets. And no sweets are my thing, bro. I live
Yeah,
for
I
sweets.
got a bucket of sweets at the house, bro. It
yeah.
sits next to my kettle. So every morning I grab a handful of sweets, even in the evening.
It just
bro,
goes
if
in the
I wake
pocket
up,
and yeah.
just, hey, here we go.
Oh, dude, last night I smashed like this 100-gram bag of these little sour cherries that I like.
Amazing.
Two
Love it,
chocolates,
bro.
2 chocolates, and half a bag of chips. And I'm like, I don't eat
So
this crap.
you've really gone down a
Nah,
spiral.
I've spiraled hard,
Yeah,
bro. I dropped in August, so last year when I started, I dropped 10 kilos in about a month.
yeah,
Just like that.
that's amazing, bro.
It was great. Like I said, first 2 weeks sucked. Like you end up, your stomach has to readjust, your body has to readjust.
Yeah.
Your carbohydrate energy, I always say to people, is almost like, if you've ever driven a car with a turbo, and you feel that bit of boost, that, and you feel it. That's kind of your carbohydrates.
Yeah.
And if you're running on ketones, which is what then if you're on carnivore, you end up in ketosis. And the ketones it's a more steady energy.
Yeah.
But it's a slower energy.
Yeah, for sure.
So like when I used to gym, like I would fast or whatever else, and if I was charring carbohydrates, you walk in the gym and you're like, bang,
Just
set
go,
after
bro.
set after set. You just go for it.
Yeah.
When you're in ketosis, you've got to rest for 3 or 4 minutes between your sets.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the energy's there. It's consistent, but
Yeah.
it's just a little less.
For sure.
And then, yeah, dude. So I started that whole thing, and everyone's like, "Yo, it's expensive." It's not expensive. meat is relatively cheap.
Yeah.
If you find the right places.
Yeah.
So you live in Summit, so
I
there's a lot of
think
places there.
using expenses and finances is more of an excuse kind of thing.
Um,
Unless you've really gone down through it and kind of
Yeah.
done the maths and done the sums and put the figures together.
Yeah.
I've kind of gone through it. I haven't started it. I'm still playing with the idea, and meat's not that expensive. Really.
Yeah. So if you shop at the right places.
Yeah.
So in Somerset West, I'm trying to think there. Derrick Drive, near Newgen Church.
There's Sons of Butchers, or is it Son and Butcher? Yeah, Son and Butcher.
Son and
Great
Butcher.
pricing. That's in Andres Pretorius.
Okay, yeah.
And then
I don't know them.
there's-
Helderberg Deli and Bacon.
Yeah.
That's there by Newgen
Yeah.
on Derrick Drive.
Yeah,
Bro, 79 Rand a kilo for topside mince.
that's amazing.
Cheapest chips. It's boerewors.
Yeah.
79 a kilo.
Really?
Free. I
Eh?
drive to Summy's every month. I buy my meat in Summy's.
Oh, serious?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Every
that's
single
classic,
month.
bro.
I get my beard
So,
cut
but
and
there-
I'll buy my
There
meat.
you go. There, it's not that
Yeah.
badly priced. I mean,
And
you could
then-
actually live off it.
Yeah,
And-
Econo Foods, there by the mall.
Yeah.
You know where geez, all these places are by churches, by Hillsong.
Yeah.
So Econo Foods, you can buy rump steak at 119 Rand a kilo, but you buy a whole rump.
Yeah.
So it costs you like $700.
And you
Take
just
it
cut
home,
it up yourself.
hack it up at home, throw it in
Yeah.
some bags, you're done. Cab Foods, they
Yeah.
do eggs at $74.99 a kilo. I mean, not a kilo, for a tray of 30.
Yeah.
Cheap. Well, cheap comparatively. It's expensive
So
compared to a
you've
year ago.
definitely done your homework.
Oh no,
with
bro!
all
I've done
of
the
these
homework.
butchers,
Yeah,
B.
and then Cab Foods does bacon
Yeah.
at like if on special 108 Rand a kilo,
Yeah.
or you can buy base bacon cubes at like 79 a kilo, 89
That's
a kilo.
dirt cheap.
Nothing, bro.
No, it's dirt cheap.
So my whole fridge is just, my freezer is steak, mince, vors,
And bacon.
and bacon. Bro. So much bacon.
You've got to have bacon in there, bro.
And then I dry the stuff. So I built myself a dehydrator. So I dehydrate bacon. So I make bacon biltong.
Okay.
So that stuff's 429 Rand a kilo at my
So
local
you
butcher.
figured that recipe out.
Figured it
eh?
out, bro. I dehydrate my
Eh?
own bacon.
The chilies and the chutneys.
Yeah,
and
bro. Yeah. So I don't throw any of that stuff. I just salt and pepper.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. Good.
Yeah. Lekker.
Awesome.
Yeah. So you got to
Very
get
cool.
used to not having loads of flavor.
Yeah.
I think because there's the meat flavor and there's flavor of eggs and all that
Yeah.
kind of jazz. But you got to get past now you're not eating chutney. Like I love Mrs. Ball's chutney. I love my all gold tomato sauce. So, and if you ask my wife, she's like, "Yeah, you still eat loads of it. Don't try and deny it or whatever." And I do. And
That's
I go
classic,
through these
yeah.
phases where it's like,
Yeah.
okay, now I'm going clean.
Yeah.
And it's like meat, steak, and slab of butter on top
Yeah.
and 4 eggs. Lekker.
So I think butter is pretty natural in
Yeah, it
terms
is.
of
Yeah.
flavoring a
Yeah.
steak. So when I cook a steak, and we do at least 3 times a week, we put a nice sirloin on the pan or on
There we
the
go.
fire.
Yeah.
And it's always cooked with butter. Really. Always cooked with
Yeah.
butter.
So I there's a couple of oils that I do use. Coconut oil. So I'll use
Depends
it.
on a steak. No, not too much, bro.
I don't mind
Butter.
it. Yeah. And then what else do I use? So I'll make my own beef tallow.
Beef tallow.
Yeah, so it's a fat, rendered
Okay.
down beef fat.
Yeah.
So if you want to fry, you want to fry steak, beef fat, bro.
Really?
Oh, it's the answer.
Good.
Yes, it's so good. You're cooking it in what it lives
Yeah,
in. I mean, it's the
yeah.
same thing. So
Interesting.
there, it's like all the butchers around here know me. I
Yeah.
walk in, it's like, oh, you want fat, or
You-
you
you
want
want-
hearts, you want liver.
But
what do
I
you
guess
want?
I
you know?
guess the fat's quite essential to the diet, eh?
Massively.
Yeah. That's where you get your energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's where you get
That's
your energy.
exactly where it comes
Yeah. So I chow like a block of butter by myself every week.
from. I don't know if I could do that, but
You'll be surprised when you
brave, bro,
I
brave.
didn't think so either.
No.
I didn't think so either. In the
Negative.
beginning, I was like, nah, I'm not
Nah,
going to chow
bro.
that much.
Are you
Bro.
one of those oaks that put your butter in your coffee too?
Every now and
Really?
again. Yeah, sometimes. Okay, so I don't, I'm trying to think. So I normally don't have, at night, I don't have coffee. So normally by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I stop with coffee. Otherwise, I'm a
Because
live
you've
wire.
had like 10 cups already.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
So it's a
yeah.
good point to stop somewhere, eh?
So I'm a live wire on a good day,
Yeah.
right? Without coffee.
Yeah.
And I stop at like 2 o'clock. Otherwise, I'm going to be,
You're going to be buzzing
I'm
right
gonna be
through the
buzzing
night,
until
bro.
2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't think your wife's going to be too happy with that one, eh?
She
No.
already says I have too much energy. So, so then, so what I do at night though is I'll take like a bit of turmeric, throw it in a bit of milk, heat it up in the
Turmeric's also
microwave.
amazing.
Yeah, in the microwave. Turmeric, ginger powder, in the microwave
Yeah.
for a bit, warm the milk up, and
Yeah.
I'll throw a bit of butter in that maybe. Cool. And that just sort of like calms you down. Bang, I sleep
Awesome.
like a
Love
baby,
it, bro.
And once you get past the first 2 weeks, you'll become very friendly with your toilet.
Yeah.
Because your body goes, what?
But it has to adjust, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's going through a massive change, bro.
Yeah. And then, once that's done, bro, you operate.
Then you go
it's
for it, yeah. Smooth sailing.
Well,
Good.
yeah.
Maybe I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Sushi's my downfall.
Yeah.
Hey, every now and again.
I think it's everyone's downfall.
Yeah. So like Leo will be like, yo, babe, let's get sushi. And I'm like,
I shouldn't, but
I shouldn't, but we're going to, you know.
bit of a rubber wrist there, man.
Oh no, easy.
Don't try too hard, please.
No. It's like,
that is so funny, man.
But it works, bro. And I mean, I've gymmed and whatever else through it, and it's lekker. It's not like you can't. It'll be different for you. Because the kind of gymming you do is a little bit crazy, but
I've gone quite intense this time as well, bro. But I've needed it, right? I've really needed it.
What are you doing?
No, it's just weight training and a lot of cardio as well.
Okay,
but it's quite high intensity, bro.
Yeah.
So it's funny enough, bro. Like coming onto your podcast for the first time, kind of introduced me now to podcasting.
Yes.
And I've been
you didn't listen to podcasts until we started talking about it.
Never ever. So now it's like in my daily routine, bro. And it's one
amazing
of the
how
best
easy
ever.
it slots in, huh?
No, 100%. But like I've got to go to the gym, otherwise I don't.
Yeah.
And if I'm driving, podcast. If I'm at the gym, podcast. And that it actually gets me from training where I used to train about an hour and 15 minutes, 2 hours, quite easy now. And I like just zone out into the podcast or whatever I'm listening to. It's not always a podcast. Sometimes I'm now into books and whatnot.
Yeah.
And 2 hours later, I'm like, okay, I think I should leave. I think I need to tap out. So yeah, interesting enough, bro. Like the last couple of weeks, bro, I've been, it's been quite challenging. And the one thing that I do, bro, is I'm either all into something or I don't even bother.
Yeah.
And the last 3 years I've opened a business, right? So I've given my all attention to that, and I've lacked on other parts of my life.
So this is next level.
This is next level, yeah. So the last 3 weeks, no, let's call it the last month. My headspace has been very busy.
Okay.
And a bit too busy because you also got a newborn in. Like life has just gone absolutely in a direction that I can't control, bro. Like life's taken me from here, and it's kind of tossed me into the ocean and said, "Well, you got to swim and find your way back."
Well, last time you had a newborn was 9 years. How old's your
9?
Nine. So 9 years ago
so
was
9 years ago, and now we back right at the beginning, bro. So the headspace has been a little bit clouded and a little bit, I would say, tormenting myself, bro. And the one thing that I know that always kind of stabilizes me and grounds me is getting back into the gym, bro.
Yeah.
Is getting back into the gym and just putting my earplugs in, zoning out, forgetting about the world, and going through a hell of a lot of self-inflicted pain.
Yeah. Yeah, I go out, now that it's dark and rainy, it's a little harder for me. But it's not easy. There's one of those parks that's got all the pull-up bars and whatever. So mates and myself, we during summer we pull in there like a lot. Now it's winter. It's like, okay, well, kettlebell in my lounge.
That's so funny, bro.
Feet under the couch, crunches. Okay,
well,
cool.
you know what, bro? You're actually doing it, so that's a step forward. I
Yeah.
mean, it's at least something, right?
Yeah.
It's good. I think exercise is just as important as your dieting. So without it, I lose my mind, bro.
It's amazing.
I don't cope well without exercise.
Yeah, it's amazing how it, like you say, clears the mind.
Yeah, bro. Of course.
And I was listening to, I think it was Joe Rogan. So back to the biggest podcast in the world. And he had a guy on that was talking about a whole bunch of stuff, whatever else. And they said they've done a bunch of studies on. So I mean, like this month is what men's mental health awareness month or whatever else. You don't hear squat about it, but apparently it is, right?
There.
And this guy was talking about sort of men, and when you'll realize that you've been through the dips and whatever else in life. So you end up in that sort of almost depressed kind of state, where you're like, yes, and I've done everything. Nothing's worked. This sucks. Why am I bothering? That space. And then the American thing is, well, go to a psychiatrist, get a pill, make yourself happy. Okay, cool, carry on with your life.
Yeah.
And this oak was saying, he said, the studies that have been done, if you just do 30 minutes of exercise in the morning, for 90% of people will solve depression.
Big time.
Solves
dude.
it.
Big time.
Like it all the dopamine hits and all the other whatever drugs and things that your brain, chemicals that your brain makes or whatever else. And 30 minutes in the morning. I mean, come on, wake up 30 minutes early.
Yeah.
Go to your lounge, do 100 push-ups, 100 squats.
Just get the blood flowing,
yeah.
bro.
And when I'm
Release
operating
those
like that,
endorphins and you'll be okay.
yeah. And when I'm operating like that, I feel great.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, let's
No,
go.
you go into a super saiyan mode.
There
bro.
we go. Yeah.
And then like you're undefeatable. And that's what I've needed.
Yeah.
So that whole entire thing, bro, and it's exactly right. You actually go into a state of depression, bro. Now I don't classify myself as someone that can go into depression quite easily. It'll take a lot.
Yeah.
But I know my mind shifts and I know my mind spaces that I'm in, and I know when it starts getting dangerous.
Yes.
And I was now very recently in that period where I'm like, I need to do something about this. Otherwise, like, shit's going to hit the fan.
Yes, yeah. You almost get a bit like, I do. I get a bit like self-destructive almost.
Well, 100%.
Where it's like,
bro,
yeah, I
100%.
know I should be, like, and I did it 3-4 weeks ago. Like, I should be editing a video.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, Monday nights, and I release on Wednesday morning at 5 o'clock, right? Every week, right?
Yeah.
So now it's like Monday night, I should be editing the video. In fact, the video should be edited already and uploaded already, but I haven't done it. And I'm sitting and I'm like,
nah.
I'll watch a movie rather.
Yeah, nah.
Now it's Tuesday.
Nah, I get
crap,
you, bro.
And it's like, you do it yourself.
Yeah.
And then it's Tuesday night. And I've got to stay up until 2 a.m. to get the video edited, get it uploaded, to get all the pictures right or whatever else. And now Wednesday and Thursday is cuck because I stayed up super late or whatever else. You do it, like we do it to ourselves.
Yeah. So put exercising in that whole entire equation. You'll find yourself
you'll do
having
it.
a little bit more energy, and you'll be a lot more like encouraged, not just with the workout, but hey guys, I'm now in that mindset. So for me, mindset's everything, bro.
Yes.
Without training, that's where I get self-destructive, as my mind starts talking to me a lot more. And I find myself getting very negative thoughts.
Yeah.
In terms of negative thoughts, it's exactly like it. Let me rather sit on the couch and watch a movie. Nah, I'm not going to cook a home meal, or I'm going to take a takeaway. So you start getting very comfortable, and I don't like that comfort zone.
Yeah.
When I start getting comfortable, it's a dangerous place for me to be.
Yeah.
So training gets me out of that comfort zone. Like I said, I push myself through hell for that period of time, just so that I can get like the spark in my head that kind of just lifts me up a little bit more, and then I'm undefeatable.
Yeah.
From after I've left that gym, bro, I'm like walking on a golden road, bro. Like, you can tell me whatever you want. It ain't gonna happen.
Yeah. But I mean, that's been proved by
over and over
by
again,
your business alone.
Yeah.
I mean, you've gone and built. The last time we chatted, you said you had 75 staff.
No, it's a bit more now.
It's a bit more now.
It's a bit
Okay.
more now. It's got a little bit out of hand, to be quite honest with you. And this is one of the reasons why I've kind of had to just stabilize my mind again, because the rush of the business and the growth of the business has been exceptionally fast.
Yes.
It's almost been like, okay, I need time to breathe. Like it's just one thing happening after the next, after the next. So I've had to kind of catch myself in a space where I've had to kind of just slow things down a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's also very difficult for me to do.
Yeah.
Really. Like, I don't like slow.
Yeah.
And I always kind of tell my wife, my mother, whoever's kind of in my circle that's kind of supported me through the business or whatever, they always tell me, slow down. You need to slow down. And I'm like, how can you just explain this to me? Go through this step with me and tell me why I should slow down.
Yeah.
What happens when Jason slows down?
Yeah.
I lose my shit. Like, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not in my DNA to slow down. I'm either full throttle or I'm not going to attempt it at all. Like, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So, but now I'm at a place where I'm like, Jay, just ground yourself quickly, and then we can, as you get all this right, because it's a lot, dude. It's a hell of a lot that we're busy with at the moment. Once you've neatened and tidied this up, then go again.
Yes.
So that's where I'm at the space at the moment where things have just got a bit too much, dude. Honest to God, it's been one hell of a ride, and I enjoy it, and we're blessed, and we're incredibly thankful for all the opportunities. But through all of this, like, it's challenging. It's very taxing, bro.
Yeah.
Dealing with that amount of staff, with the amount of sites we got to it, everything. Like, it becomes a bit taxing. And that, you see, this is exactly my mindset again. Where I was. And I shouldn't be there. I shouldn't be focusing and zoning in on how taxing it is. Rather receive it. Rather receive it. And now I'm training myself to get out. So, like now, for instance, I immediately can catch myself. Stop going down that road, Jay. You're in a good place. Rather have these problems than not have these problems. Because when you don't have these problems, you you don't. I don't even want to go down that road right now.
Yeah.
So I will welcome these problems in now. But again, I just want to take it back to putting myself back in the gym or some form of training mode, and then also like, to me, mentally, spiritually, and physically.
Yeah.
If you combine those three things, like depression's non-existent, bro, or any one of those negative kind of mindsets, bro. One needs to mindset for me is something that I'm focusing on quite a bit right now.
Yeah.
And how to capture negative thoughts, and then how to release them, and then how to introduce more positive thinking.
Napoleon Hill wrote that famous book, Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
And I initially read part of it. It's this black one here on the shelf.
There we go.
And I started reading it a while back, and I've picked it up again now, like this week kind of thing. I started again, I want to finish the book this time. And but I read the first like chapter, and I was like, "No, man, this is some frou-frou nonsense, man." Okay, bro, if you just think about it, okay, $1 million. Boom.
Yeah, that's not
like
quite gonna
manifest this stuff. And I was like, man, this oak is so frou-frou. Why is everyone going nuts?
What the mind of the man can conceive can achieve.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure, bro.
And I'm like, okay, cool. And then I kind of dived a bit more into it, and I think on the surface it looks a little bit frou-frou, but it comes down to that mindset that if you are actively looking for something negative, you're going to find something negative.
So that's that law of attraction.
Yeah. If you are actively looking for something good, and I started this years ago. Like I'm a very optimistic person. Yeah. And I used to be very not negative, but I'm critical as well. So I look at systems and I'll be like, ooh, this can be improved, this can be improved, this can be improved. And that can pull you into like, oh, this is all wrong. Yeah. As opposed to we can do better, which is maybe the positive side. But this is all wrong. And I used to fall into that a little bit. And so I started fixing my head with that kind of thing years back already. And slowly, trying to get more and more. I read that book and I was like, oh, okay, then maybe this makes a little bit more sense now. There we go. Get the mindset right. And then maybe it's not, you attract it, but maybe you are more aware of the good stuff. So if you like sitting going, I need deals because I'm broke and I've got no money and whatever else. Or, I want to make a sale. I want to go help someone, better their company or whatever else. Yeah. And now you're looking and you sort of then go, oh, okay, I can see that person. I can help that person or whatever else, No,
that's good, bro. So if you're going to think it more productively or more systematically, like either way, if you're going to be negative about it and you're going to actively think negative thoughts, you're not going to get anywhere. Yeah. But if you're going to actively think more positive kind of thoughts, you're going to steer yourself in either which direction. Yeah. It just it depends on which one you're feeding the most, I guess. Which one of the demons you're either going to feed a negative thought or you're going to feed into a positive thought. Exactly. Yeah. And that's the mindset that I'm in at the moment is capture. I have to because there's a lot relying on where I'm going and what I want and where I want to be. And introducing a negative thought it's not going to happen to me at the moment. Yeah. I don't have time and I don't have that luxury to actually even entertain any form of negativity, bro. Yeah. But life throws you curveballs, bro. Yeah. Life really does. It's and I've honestly been through a bit of a battle where I think there's been a spiritual attacks on my life. And people want to get you down. Not everybody's always so welcoming to your success or whatever form of success you're experiencing. Yep. And these things happen, bro. I mean, I've just gone through a experience where I'm going to say it was one of my competitors that reported me to the Department of Labor for whatever, God knows what reason. And then I had the Department of Labor give me a call and they're like, we need to come do a survey or an audit on your business. I'm like, you guys are more than welcome, but where does this all come from? No, we got a public phone call that we need. I'm like, okay, well,
which is an anonymous call.
Yeah, it's anonymous. So I'm like, can you tell me who it was? No, we're not allowed to do that. So in my mind, I'm like, why would the public phone? Like, what is the public got to do? So I'm very transparent in the business. We're very transparent, and we've got everything in place. So we welcomed them in. We took them through all of our systems and our health and safeties, and they were fine. They were very happy. Yeah. But at the end of it, it got me thinking. I'm like, not everybody's going to be happy with what I'm doing, and that too is also like I can I can feed on the negative side of it, or I can feed on the positive side of it. And the positive side of it, hey, right, you watching me, you're not too impressed.
Yeah.
Means I'm doing something right, eh?
Yeah.
So bro, like carry on doing what you're doing, carry on throwing me into the line of fire, and as soon as I'm in that fire, I'm gonna make it burn brighter, dude. So it's just finding opportunity and
well, some people. Who is it? I use Gary Vee a lot. But Gary Vee was like, if you're gonna build a business or build a building, build the biggest building.
Yeah.
Don't go and tear down all the other buildings to make yours look like the biggest building. You know, like hey, why? If some bro is working on a thing and he's being successful, leave him alone.
Yeah.
Let him do his thing.
I've got a mate that's all. He's become a mate. So I develop a lot of relationships. My whole business, and I want to read one or two things a little bit later for you. But he really highlighted something that I've been practicing, but without even noticing it.
Yeah.
And we are talking about competition and how healthy competition is. And he said, "Yeah, well, who's your biggest competitor?" So start naming a couple of things. He's like, "Why don't you just look at yourself and compete against yourself? Stop worrying about the rest of the trade or the industry. Leave it. Let them do their thing. Just focus on you. You steering yourself in a direction." And it kind of hit home. I'm like, well, I've kind of been doing that already, but I dig it. You know?
Yeah.
But these oaks, they will come at you with everything they can just to bring you down. Or it's not even. Let's not even call it competitors, bro. Like it's just life throwing you a whole bunch of lemons. And what you make of it.
I had someone ask me a while back, who's my biggest competitor in the business I work in.
Yeah,
and I was like, I don't know. I was like, maybe I should go find out. And then I was driving home, and I was like,
who is it?
There's an IT company there. Do they compete with me? I don't know.
I
don't know what they do for business. So our business is quite unique. So like the IT that we do, we specialize in like a specific kind of IT for 50% of our business. And that's with the likes of like big companies like Cromco, those big Apple guys and whatnot.
Yeah.
So we control the IT that does the fruit storage, right? So if you go and buy an apple from Pick and Pay, or Woolies or Checkers, whatever else, it's 12 months old, right? They stick it in these rooms, 20 meters by 20 meters by 20 meters, and they put like 4 million rands worth of apples inside there, and then they chill it and they pump these gases in, and it puts it into stasis. And then a year later or 18 months later, now the shops are like, hey, we had a bad season, now we need more apples, Okay, cool, they pull them out of storage and they sell them to you, So we we do the computers, the hardware for that runs the software that controls all of that.
Okay.
So that's like very like, I don't know any other guys that do that. That's
high
work.
tech, bro.
Yeah, no, my butt covers that. He's a smart cookie, that one.
Yeah, I know.
And so that all happens behind this wall.
Yeah. So we can thank your butt for
apples and pears, bro.
For them being so fresh, bro. Yeah, apples and pears grow out there, but he keeps them fresh for us.
Yeah. So and that's like one part of it. And then the other part we focus is, so we do general IT as well, but we do like normal stuff.
Like computer web design.
That we kind of, but more the hardware and the software type of thing. So it's like your Outlook, for instance. Like how does your Office, the licensing of that, the computer itself. You switch your computer on and you get that blue screen and it says not bro, sorry. That kind of thing. We fix that.
And you sort it out.
Yeah. And then, so we do like general IT. And there's a lot of guys that do that. But there's so many that it's like, how do you pinpoint a competitor? You don't. It's just like, well, throw a rock. Yeah. You hit a guy that does it. Yeah. And then we specialize. We do like another small section of the business, like specialize in medical IT. So it's like, ophthalmologists and surgeons and that kind of stuff and the IT behind that, Yeah. And that's quite fun, like, so, and once again, there are guys out there that do it. Who they are, I have no idea. Yeah, I do not know.
So my son, it's my newborn son, Evan. He was born with a heart condition called pulmonary valve stenosis.
Right.
So just backing onto what you were busy talking about, I'm going to get to that now. But in order to get there, I need to go through
a story.
Go through a bit of a story. So we landed up at Christian Barnard.
Yes.
Now, Christian Barnard is very famous for
Hearts.
Heart.
Yeah.
heart operation.
Well, no, was Krutiski the first
Criticida is where the
the
first
heart transplant
transplants
happened.
took place.
Yes.
Yeah, by
Christian Barnard. Yes. Yeah.
So funny enough, the doctor that operated on Haven was the doctor that took over from Christian Barnard.
Jeez, was it that? Not that.
It wasn't that long ago. No.
So there you go.
Was,
the right
but I
words
mean,
for me,
like she's also. I don't want to say she's elderly because she's actually quite savvy, bro. Her name's Susan. Very nice lady, but she knows what she's doing, and she's very highly spoken about in the entire industry. Anybody that knows anybody that knows anything to do with hearts, it's her.
Yes.
But I mean, she's had her time. I think she's almost should be working herself into a more comfortable position, but I think she's just so passionate about what she does, and she's just so driven by saving lives and putting families in a better position. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have my son. But anyway, I just want to get back to this, bro. Back to the technicalities of what you were talking about. So we land up at Christian Barnard. Haven goes through 2 operations, and now we're in a neonatal ICU.
Yes.
Now, this ICU is quite intense, bro. Like, there's machinery. The drugs are getting pumped from machines on a let's say, every 5 minutes, and then this one's getting pumped in at every 10 minutes. But it's all done by machine. Everything's done by machine. And in the kind of, let's say, room next to us, this other baby was born with his organs not in the right place.
Okay.
So they have this machine and this tech guy, and there's very few of them that do it.
So medical techs, those guys are next level. I know a few of them. That's crazy.
I was watching this stuff, and it blew my mind.
Yeah. Okay. So
what
we're
he
not
does
like that.
is he comes and he controls the blood flow.
Yeah.
So all the blood goes into this machine, and he controls all the data and the technical side of this machine. But he's like a specialist.
Yeah.
Not a doctor. He's a tech guy that the doctors have to call in whilst they're busy operating on this kid. Now this kid's open, bro, and they have to move organs. This kid's blood is now in a machine.
Yes.
All of it. Not some of it. All of it is now in this machine, and this tech guy is busy controlling the blood flow, how fast. Should I speed it up? Yes, you can speed it up now. Should I slow it down? Should I pack it into this compartment? I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
Bro,
like, no, this machine is busy keeping it alive, and that's what he does. Because I was like, who's this guy? Like, I mean, he's new. Yeah, we were there for 5 weeks, so I got to familiarize myself with these people. And I'm like, well, he doesn't quite seem like a doctor. He's not talking like a doctor, but the doctors are going to him.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah.
So a tech guy with machinery is keeping his baby alive.
That's like 6 levels above what I do.
I couldn't believe it. So that was the story that just to bounce back on what you were saying.
I've got a couple of mates that work in that industry as well up in Joburg.
Yeah.
And so they do also like specialist machinery for like endoscopes and whatever else. So there it's like lenses and whatever else. So when they take pictures of your gut and whatever else, you know, like you need to have a really top class. It's like a Carl Zeiss lens and a fancy camera so they can find cancer or whatever they're looking for, you know. Yeah. And the stories that these guys tell on, you know, it's like, you get a phone call at 12 o'clock and they're like, we've got a patient on your machines doing something funny. I need you to come in.
Yeah, you come in, man.
Yeah, I'm like, geez, go in the theater. Yeah, bro, have to. Yeah. Dressed up with all the gown and the cap and the mask and the face shield. And
so shout out to all the tech guys.
Yeah, they're a bunch of legends.
Love it, man. Love it.
So now your business, bro.
Yeah, man.
Next level.
We haven't. What do you want?
We haven't said what you do, and I was going to make a comment earlier when you were talking about health and safety.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, but you are, hanging a bunch of oaks off the side of buildings.
Yeah, so we do a few things.
You do a few things, huh?
We do a few things. But before we get into that, let's just talk about the term next level. And I'm gonna kind of switch this interview around, and I'm gonna ask you what do you think next level means? In
regards to I suppose I know you too well, Rhea. So your whole life is trying to be next level.
Yeah.
Rhea.
So
taking
very bluntly, and
trying to take mediocre and push it literally to the next level.
Yeah, 100%.
I know you, Chan.
100%.
I know you think.
Okay. So I'm gonna just read you a quick little thing that I've kind of put down. So it's what next level means to me. So I'm gonna read you something, and then I'll kind of bounce off of that and see if it can resonate with you. And I think I want to kind of tie in grow a pair with next level.
I like it.
And see if we can put the two together that they can marry each other. Yeah, so that they can both make sense. So the term next level generally means surpassing the current standard or stage to achieve a higher level of performance, quality of development. It is often used to describe significant improvement or advancements in various contexts such as technology, skills, business, or personal growth. So that is it, bro. It is a movement forward.
Yes.
It's a movement forward. And I often refer to failing forward as an example of what next level means. And a lot of people live in this fear of trying something because of failure.
Yeah.
Why? I failed so many times, bro. And I still feel today like there's some form of failure that I endure, and I welcome failure. Because it teaches me something.
Oh, yeah.
Every single time I failed something, and I can promise you nowadays, and hopefully I can come back onto this podcast and we can go through a couple of other little things that will bounce off this. But failure has brought me to a position where I'm at today, and it's probably the strongest position that I've ever been in my entire life. But it's capturing the failure, not allowing it to defeat me, but rather to encourage me and to build me and to strengthen me and who I am. And the term next level just kind of sits quite well with my whole entire lifestyle.
Dude, when I saw you post the very first time, and you were like, "I've opened this business. Here's next level."
Yeah.
Number one, your little advert. I say little advert. It sounds condescending. It's not. So like, I want to rephrase that. Scratch that. Okay, hold on. The advert that you put out was this. Boom, boom, next level, neon bright, lights, superimposed on a building, abseiling, okay, maybe that wasn't the beginning, but that's what it became,
Yeah,
and I was like,
bro.
Yeah, bro, that's fits Jason down to the T.
Yeah.
I'll go to gym with you once and you'll understand what next level means.
Yeah. So I actually, to build up this story for you, to tell you where we came from, I went through a bit of crap in my life.
Sure.
And, that's about 9-10 years ago now. So when I had my firstborn, right? And things happened in my life that I wasn't too comfortable with. Went into I wouldn't even quite call it a state of depression. It was more self-destruction.
Yes.
And but for a very obvious and very good reason. But I don't want to disencourage, and I'm going to put that aside for a second. And I got into an opportunity where I just needed an opportunity to find income because I wasn't working for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I had nothing. I was back in my parents' house. I had nothing. I was broken. The previous business, Genesis Panel Beaters, collapsed. It fell apart. I fell apart. And I just needed an opportunity.
Yeah.
So the next opportunity I found, it didn't matter what it was, how it was. All I said to myself, I'm going to make the most of it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the best at it. And I'm going to give it everything that I've got. And the paycheck has got nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
That was my kind of promise to myself. That was who I was at that moment. And I was like, this is what's going to happen. So got the opportunity, and I just grew and grew and grew and grew. And I threw myself. I worked like a absolute addict, bro. I just didn't stop. I threw myself at it. And through that, I grew and I grew and grew. So that was about 5 years. And then I decided, okay, well, there's only so much space here now.
Yeah.
There's only so much more I can do.
Yeah.
I've kind of tapped at my salary range. There's nothing more that he can offer me. There's nothing more that I can really offer him. And the more I'm trying to offer him more, I'm not really growing.
Yeah.
So what happens? You get stuck in, you get this carrot in front of you.
You get that little guy that sits in your head, or on your shoulder and goes, hey, bro.
You got to move.
You got to start your own thing.
You got to start your own thing. But I was very nervous about that because of the previous failures.
Yeah.
I was very nervous. And I now had a new wife, and we were flourishing, and we were putting a life together. So I'm like, if I do this, bro, owning a business is not all true. It's not glamorous.
Yeah.
There's
Everyone's
nothing
like,
glamorous about it.
I want to own my own business. I work on my own hours. I'm the
No.
boss. It's like, nope.
You don't have your own hours, bro. Your hours don't exist.
Yeah, what hours do you work? Yes.
Yes.
No, what's your hours? Yes.
Yes.
All of
those
them.
are my hours, bro.
Yeah.
So from Mondays means nothing to me. Bro, I work as hard on a Sunday as I do on a Monday. I work as hard on a Wednesday as I do on a Saturday. The times are irrelevant for me. I mean, you go to work from 8 to 5, and I'm not saying you, to 8 to 5, but I don't have that. I don't have that luxury of cutting off when I get home. When I get home, I need to now sit down and do admin. When I wake up, I need to plan my day. And that's at 5 or 4 o'clock in the morning. So I don't have that. Where were we going with this?
You were talking about the job you took and you got through it.
And
now we're starting the business.
So now we started next level. And I really... I could talk to you so much about the heart of it and where it is and how it began. But... I've always had a heart for business.
Yes.
And for owning my own business. And I'm not a guru. I'm not a business guru, bro. In fact, I think this is also a very good reason why I want to be part of this podcast. Is to show people you don't need a degree.
Yes.
You don't need to be well read. You don't need to be well organized. Yes, you do actually need to be that. But you don't need to be highly educated to have a business. Bro.
Hold on one sec.
No, they must gooi. They must gooi.
Yeah, I just want to. The silence helps me reference it. So, So, what do I want to say? I had a thought in my mind. You said so. You said you need, well, you don't need to be structured or whatever else. And I think you actually then you said, well, hold on, no, wait, maybe you do need to be structured. I think you just need to have someone with you that's structured.
For sure. So I think I'm pretty structured at the moment. But I think what I meant was you don't need to be so qualified in owning a business.
Sure. You don't have to have
I don't have any qualifications. I've got a DJ. I'm a DJ. I'm a qualified DJ. I went to graphic design and I got a little bit of photography, but I never qualified in that. I went to sound engineering, but I never qualified in that. I don't have qualifications. Really. I don't. I have I'm going to say it, I have a fucking big desire to be successful in business. And nothing's going to get in my way of doing that. And I want people to understand, bro, like it's not where you're at, it's not who you were. Nothing in life, all your challenges, all the obstacles that you've had to go through don't define you, bro. Who you are now. And this is another thing that podcasting has actually brought me to. It's just being present. Who you are now and bringing that standard to just being in this moment, embracing what we are today will catapult us into the future. So, yeah, man, business is a tricky thing, bro. And I really... There's many success stories, and a lot of them are unqualified people that just are driven, and they refuse to give up.
Well, I think so. I had a guy on here, Carl Puller, also a business guy.
I watched that.
He's a legend, that guy. And he was talking about that purpose. You know, that passion or that drive or that purpose. What's the thing that keeps you going? And that all the people that I interview, number one, and all the people that I talk to about business, they've got that drive, that purpose or that passion. They all call it something maybe slightly different, you know, but it's that little fire that burns inside you that when you're tired, you're happy to still put the work in as opposed to just lie down on the couch. Or, you know, or where you're sitting and it's 10 days before you got to pay your rent and you know you're not going to have the money. And it's like, you can go and sit down and, you know, woe is me. Or you hustle, you know. You hustle, you know. And I think that's a lot of the determining factor of success is how many times are you able to stand up once you've fallen down, or can you take the pressure? Can you take the negatives and whatnot?
Well, as soon as you can start handling that, you're growing.
Yes.
If you can take those negatives and the pressures, and I don't know if you've ever heard of the Stoics.
Yes.
Have you heard of the Stoics?
I've got like 500 little Stoic comments saved on my Instagram.
But how amazing are they?
Spectacular.
They are so like silent, or I wouldn't quite say silent. Like their kind of philosophies are very, very deep. They're very deep, but they hit home. And one of them is just self-confidence.
Yes.
And taking every situation, no matter how hard it is, no matter how deep it is, no matter how challenging it is, no matter how hot it is, to remain calm.
Yeah.
Just to remain calm.
Carry on. Yeah.
And to carry on.
Yeah.
The podcasting again has introduced me to the Stoics, and I've just fallen in love with it. I wouldn't say I'm entirely a Stoic. I'm not a Stoic, but there's some really cool stuff in their philosophies.
Yeah, yeah. I read, so when I talk to people about like Stoicism and whatever else, normally I'll say to guys, I mean, even if they don't really like necessarily the Bible, right? But if you go into Proverbs and you pop open that book, and it's like, I don't know, 30 pages or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And they say, well, Solomon was the wisest man in the world, kind of, you know, and he wrote that book, you know. And you go and read Proverbs, man alive. It's simple little things that just, and the same as the Stoic, it's along that same line, you know, that just make your life better. You know, like don't sit in the seat of mockers. Don't be that guy. You know, be nice. You know, I mean, a simple lesson, but you line up all those things, your life gets better straight away.
It's amazing that you brought up Proverbs now, because it's one of the key things that I've been focusing on is Proverbs.
Yeah.
And they're short little letters or kind of very integral philosophies that you can introduce into your own kind of lifestyle. I think it'll be very difficult to kind of introduce all of it at any given time.
Yeah.
But I think in certain situations you can grab bits and pieces from all of it, bro.
Yeah.
And the other day, I think it was probably Wednesday or Tuesday, I went through the whole of Proverbs in one gym session.
Nice, yeah.
Did I get everything? No. But if you can just get 10% of Proverbs, there's another book, bro, where I think it's Wealth to Riches or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And the guy based his whole entire book of reading Proverbs every single day of the month.
Interesting.
Every single day he read Proverbs 1 to Proverbs 31 every single day of the month for 2 years, and he is now highly successful. I'll get the name, but I think it's called Wealth to Riches.
Okay, yeah.
Warren something, but I'll get the name and I'll screenshot it and I'll send it through to you. And I think there's a lot inside Proverbs, bro. There's a lot. And Stoicism kind of, and Proverbs, they connect, but they don't connect.
Yeah.
They're very similar, but they're their own people. I like Proverbs a lot. I love the Bible. I've been reading a lot of the Bible lately. And in fact, last night, bro, I took a nice hot bath. And if I'm going to tie one verse to grow a pair today, it's going to be out of Ephesians, bro. Ephesians 4:29.
Check this guy, bro. He's come prepared, eh?
I came
you got
prepared,
notes and
bro.
stuff. I like it.
Yeah, I came prepared, bro. So last night, and even like after our first podcast that we did, something was a little bit uneasy.
The one we didn't put out.
The one we didn't put out. But I really do hope that there's many more to come, and that
for sure.
I can or that I can come over, or you welcome me over again, because there's a lot that's on my heart, bro. And there's a lot that I could actually share that could reach into someone's life, and but maybe it could change it. Maybe it doesn't change it, but maybe it could just put them in a different mindset to catapult them. But anyway, back to what I was doing last night is finding that mind space again and just asking God, like, what can I bring to the table? Like, speak to me, flex a little bit, like, come on, let's do this thing. And I was sitting in the bath and put my Epsom salt in, and I lit some candles, and I put on Ephesians. Now, Ephesians is the very short letter that Paul wrote when he was in
Ephesus. Yeah,
he was in prison.
Oh, he was in prison. Okay, so he wrote it to the guys.
Yes.
So I wrote it to the church in Ephesus. That's right. Yeah,
and he was sitting in prison.
Yeah.
And I mean, how challenging can that be? But anyway, so I'm going through it, and there was something that you spoke to me about, grow a pair, right? And what you wanted to do. So if I can relate it to what the Bible has to say, wouldn't that blow your mind?
That would be very interesting.
Okay,
yes.
so the last time we spoke, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ephesians 4:29. Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen.
Why are you going so deep?
To those who may listen. And that's exactly what you said to me. Jay, I don't want this to hurt anything, but I want it to rather build. And we can relate it back to what God is saying through His Word. So, am I a righteous Christian? No. Do I believe in the book? 110%. And I think God is also wanting to use the space just to flex a little bit, bro. And I want to give Him that chance. I really do. Because next level and where I've come from, there's a journey that God has taken me through that's even more exciting than any business, than any relationship, than any financial wealth that I've ever gained. And it's who he's knitted me to be today. And I think there's a testimony within inside my life from what I was to who I am today that people might relate to. And I hope these listeners, and I hope someone out there can actually just take a second, take a moment, and find the courage just to listen. But listen intently. Listen with purpose. Listen with an open heart and with an open mind to a story that might just catapult you in the direction that God wants you to go in. So that's just a little verse that came to me last night whilst I was busy zoning out.
Bro, I've been thinking, you said like Epsom salt bath. I've been sitting for the last, probably the last 2 weeks going, actually after I spoke to Joni, right, and she was going on, so she sat in the same seat as you were there, and she was talking about the Epsom salts that she's selling and whatnot.
Funny enough, it was one of hers.
That wasn't one of hers. It was, bro. Well, that's good. It was. But you guys support. So you've got one of your other
Grant has got the wealth room.
Saying little. So Grant's got the wealth room. Joni's got Cloverleaf. She's got the my brain went dead on the name of it. Earthology. Yes. You've got Next Level, and you've got Autobots.
Yeah, Autobots is not really there anymore. It's there. Okay. It's there, but it's
simmering.
Not there.
Yeah, it's simmering.
Yeah, it's not something.
If you go through like all your guys' Facebook posts and whatever else, which I've done, so like to research people or whatever else, and thankfully I've got you. I've got you Oaks on Facebook, so it makes stuff a lot easier.
Yeah, man.
But I said this a similar thing to Joni. Like, you guys have a family of number one business people from your dad. And
unfortunately, bro. I would have loved to have just been a normal employee to get my average salary and go home and enjoy my weekends. Yeah, but we all.
So you're like a family of businesses.
Yeah,
but the way that you guys support each other is lacquer. So like, I mean,
that's lacquer.
Yeah, because I mean, if you go onto the Cloverleaf page, there's a picture of Joni's van that was sprayed green or whatever else by Autobots. There you go. You know, like, and it's like, hey, look, Autobots. This is my bro's thing. Like, what support it. Okay, cool. You know, and then it's all this kind of you find a lot of people, and you were talking about it earlier, where people will look at your business and they'll be like, oh yeah, bro, no, I'll check this guy, he's making all the money, oh, he's changed, he's like this, he's like that, or whatever else. And then and the negativity around it, and I've never gotten it. I've had my other mate Quinton on here, and what him and myself do sometimes is we like, people watch. You ever gone into a mall and just sat on the bench?
Yeah, go to
for
an
airport,
it's even better.
Yeah, and you go sit and just watch people, right? What him and myself do is we watch businesses.
Yeah.
So we'll look and be like, yo, hey, did you see? I saw a business. Oh, really? What do they do? No, they do this. Oh, lekker.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. And then you check and check their page, check their website. You check a thing on the side of the road. Now there's a notice or a banner or something, and you watch them grow. I did it with your business because I came back to Cape Town. And I knew, obviously, Next Level. I'd seen the post on Facebook. And then I was driving up the N1, and that Protea, it was a Protea Hotel. Protea Hotel, there's a sign. Boom, Next Level, 2 LED lights on it. You get, 100,000 people every morning driving past it or whatever it is?
Easy.
And I was like, hey, that's my chummy. and then 3 weeks later, I saw your van driving in Brackenfell. And I was like, hey, that's Next Level. Then I was like, wait, hold on. Now I'm seeing the van a lot. Now I'm seeing more. Then it was 2 vans because I noticed there was a difference. And I'm like, whoa, hold on. This China's growing. And I find my mate Quinton. I was like, yo, bro, my mate's built this business. Have you seen Next Level? He goes, yeah, bro, they got the thing on the side of the highway. And it's
good to know.
It's lekker, bro. It's nice to see someone putting the effort, getting the success, doing, I look at it and I go, I'm motivated. I want to be that guy, and I do it at the moment 2 different places, but within my brother's business, trying to build that, and then with my side hustle, and this is all part of it.
Yes, it is.
And there's marketing that can happen here, and there's whatever
I buy
else,
into what you're doing, bro.
And it's, I think if like we're talking about what the purpose of the podcast is, I'm not here to be funny. I'm not here to be salacious. I'm not here to post funny stuff or interview people that are going to just clickbait, or whatever. I want to change a life would be great.
Yeah.
And if I mean, and I'm putting in 8 to 12 hours an episode on this, if I get to 100 episodes and and that's it, and I do it, and that's all I do,
you've done it.
And I've changed one person.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm in a net positive.
Oh, 100%
like
sure.
Totally in a net positive.
100% sure.
You know?
So if you have to put it in a graph, you're putting in an effort, and if it's one person more than what would have happened if you didn't, right?
Yeah. I mean, what I would like is to build a business around it. But, like I would love to have, I've got someone in mind already, but like I would love to have an assistant that would help out and do the setup of all of this, and maybe be sitting over there, you know, monitoring everything or whatever.
I think
else,
it's good to have goals, bro.
Absolutely.
You have to.
Yeah.
If you don't have goals, you're wasting your time.
Yeah. What I want to ask you a couple of questions. We've had a lack of conversation so far, but I want to ask you a couple of
been very easy,
poignant questions.
Yeah.
What does it take to start a business? Big, broad.
You need to grow a pair, bro. First of all, you really need to grow a pair, bro.
What's the reality of it? I do know.
The reality of it.
I do
to
know.
To be very honest with you, when I started this business, I had 97 Rand in my account, and I had the will to do it. And that's all. Once I put foot, I had my wife's permission, or that time my fiance's permission. She supported me. So, I mean, having that kind of support as well is very motivating.
Yep.
And there was just things that God was also telling me that it's time, because I was simmering on nothing, and I wasn't growing. And grow a pair is not just grow a pair and find the next challenge. Like, you need to grow. You need to grow in life. You can't be stagnant.
Yeah.
The minute, and I think this is where depression comes from, bro, is when you stop growing.
Right.
What happens when you stop growing, bro? You like become complacent. You become I wouldn't say irrelevant, but life becomes meaningless because there's no more growth. Yeah. But the minute you start finding opportunities grow, that's why I say fail forward. But to what degree do you need to start any business? I mean, how many huge successfully businesses have been started with nothing? Just the mind, the will, the correct mindset, and maybe some support. But this business, Next Level, started with no financial help at all. Funny enough, the previous business that I had was supported and financed by my parents.
That was Genesis, huh?
That was Genesis. After 3-4 years, couldn't take it anymore. This business decided to do it completely and utterly by myself. Yeah. And just by that, I think that the need and the desire and the urgency behind it was a lot more potent. Yeah. Whereas there it was a little bit more privileged. Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, no, I'm not going down this road again. I'm not borrowing anything. If this is going to happen, God, you need to make it happen for me. And he did, bro. And this is why I want to delve into that in a larger, let's say in a larger scale, but it will take a little bit more time and put a little bit more emphasis on where God had me and where he's brought me to. And still, bro, there's a journey today. Yeah. There's still, like, God's not done. Yeah. God's not done. He's like, bro, I'm only getting started. Like, you haven't even seen, which also makes me a bit nervous, but I want to be nervous. I want those butterflies. I don't want to be sitting at home being like, I'm comfortable now. I think I've had enough. So the term Next Level is tattooed in my heart. It's tattooed in my lifestyle. I will never stop growing. Even into retirement, I will find something to pick up and to grow with. Yeah.
Have you tattooed it on your body?
Not yet.
That's surprising. That is actually surprising.
Not yet, but the thought is weighing very heavy on me.
I saw a picture the day before yesterday. I think it was Disciples Inc. and you put a Next Level something there. Did you paint their building or what it was?
So we did a bit of, let's call it a collab where I went in and so it was a bit of a rainy week. So I didn't really, we only had like maybe 3 or 4 sites going. And again, I don't like to sit still. I don't want to sit still. So I rocked up at Jono and I was really just there for a conversation, bro. I was just wanted to chat and say how's it to a mate. And I looked around and I'm like, well, it's Monday and we've got a full week of rain. I'm like, bro, hey, do you mind if I come tidy up here a little bit? He's like, well, do you want to get tattooed for it? So I'm like, well, please, let's
trade exchange, bro.
Let's go. Let's do it. So But it wasn't really for the exchange. It
Sure.
was more also to keep my guys working and
Yeah,
just to
yeah.
support them a bit. So I said, cool, well, we've got some cool vibes that I want to introduce you to.
Mhm.
And we came and smashed it out within a week. And
Nice.
yeah, so he said, put your signs up. So it was
That's
really,
cool.
that happened like this. It was a conversation. I
Yeah.
went in to go say how's it to a mate. I left there with the team the next morning coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Turned
You
his
must,
world upside down.
You must hook me up there. I would love to.
Yeah.
I would love to get.
Yeah, no, he's a
to
very
get,
cool guy,
Get him
bro.
onto the
Love it.
podcast.
So
and-
me and him are actually we're busy sitting and discussing. I wanna call it a cell group for the better word of where it's going on a Wednesday night that are also gonna reach out into I don't know people that are not too inclined on wanting to go to church or be
Sure.
set apart.
yeah.
So I think I'm kind of in that category. I don't mind churches. I love going to them. But sometimes it gets a little bit clicky, bro.
It can be. Yeah.
It can get a little bit clicky, and I want to kind of try break that normality, and maybe you know these tattooed bulldogs leading from the front may be a thing.
Yeah.
So we're busy putting something like that together, but
Awesome.
we'll see where God takes it. Yeah.
Okay. You have kind of answered the next question already, but I
Yeah.
want to get a.
Spill the beans. Ask again.
I want to get a sound clip for it because I started it with Joni. I think I asked her the first time.
Yeah.
But in some kind of 30 seconds to a minute or whatever else, what does grow a pair mean to you?
Never give up. Finding opportunity in adversity. Taking on the next challenge full-heartedly. What does grow a pair mean? Yo, bro, it's a lifestyle, right? It's a mindset. It's a way of thinking. It's something. If you find something that you really want to connect with, when you go into it, go into it. Like don't go into it half-heartedly. Don't shove it into a corner. Like go in like a bull in a china shop, bro. Grow
Love
up
it.
there. Yeah.
Love it. That's fantastic. Dude.
Yeah.
Bro, we've hit. Jeez, we're over an hour already. Can you believe
We're
how
over
quickly?
an hour.
It's insane.
Yeah, man.
It goes so
I
quickly.
would probably go for another hour, bro. Quite easily.
A lot. I know. Yeah, I've had a couple of oaks. I had Mark Hayes on the other day.
Yeah.
And we were just chatting and chatting. Next, I look at the computer and it's like hour and 23 minutes. I'm
Oh,
like,
wow.
Just, hey, whoa, hold on. My phone.
That may be a bit too long.
The camera's going to pack up for it.
You know, when we did the first episode, and you can wrap it off and you can pause this whenever you want. Like I was like an hour, bro. Like,
Yeah.
who listens to people for an hour?
Uh-huh.
A week
I
later,
remember you
there's
saying,
Jason.
I remember you saying to me afterwards, "No, bro, we should have done 30 minutes."
No,
And I'm
bro.
like, "No, China, do
Yeah.
you know what
No.
a podcast is? Go
No,
listen
so
to a few."
my thinking is now like, okay, an hour is legit, but let's continue this thing. Let's not end it. Yeah, let's create episodes and series. If you want, let's do a movie, bro.
Yeah.
Like, why don't we grow a pair
Yeah.
and freaking take this thing to the next level,
Yeah.
bro?
So one of the things that I've now been toying with. So the podcast is one part of it, and then during COVID I did the YouTube thing, right? And I did some terrible
Bro,
videos.
you counted rice.
I counted rice. I
You
watched the pot
counted
boil.
rice, bro. I was like, what are you doing?
I took a pen and I wrote with it until it ran out of ink. I took a lock, one of those combination locks.
You had way too much stuff.
I did. I was crawling up the walls, bro. And so I had called it Challenge Life, because I want to challenge, do challenges and whatever else. And
Counting rice, bro.
Yeah,
Serious.
it didn't really work, but it gave me. I chatted about this with someone else the other day. Like, it gave me a lot of the skills that I'm using here.
Yeah.
So lighting and the video and editing and all that kind of stuff. I learned a lot of it then. Failing forward, yeah. We're at 1% better every day,
Yes.
you know. And so one of the things now I'm wanting to do as an addition to this, when I was in KZN, I was going to revisit my YouTube aspirations, and I call it DIY days, do it yourself days, kind of thing. And I'm now looking at these episodes and I'm going, so I had Debbie Duvall on. She ran a marathon over 2 days up and down a mountain in Greyton. All right.
It's insane.
Insane. Right. People will look at you and go, there's this oak. 3-4 years has built this business with, I mean, let's say 75 plus, people, staff, blah, 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 abseiling off the side of 10-story buildings and whatever else. Insane. Oaks, look at Carl Puller, what he's done with his business and, building all the stuff he's built. Insane. Mark Hayes, musician, gone and he lives on music. It's hard to do.
No, not easy, bro.
Not easy. And so I looked at all these different people and I'm like, I'd love to go and experience beyond this, experience a bit of their lives. So I'm like now thinking about doing videos where I'm going, okay, cool. Like Debbie Duvall's quite an easy one running. Not easy, but easy one to film maybe and conceptualize. Mark Hayes as a musician or Wicked World as musicians, easier to conceptualize. So I'm thinking of doing a video with some musicians where I sit down with them, write a song and perform it to live that, and then go and run over a mountain for 2 days or walk to Pearly Beach. I had an oak on here,
I love
Kyle,
Beach,
bro, my mom's out there, it's lekker.
I love it.
So Kyle Giant, he's an author. He's 28 years old. He's written 16 books.
Sure.
Right. And he walked from Mitchell's Plain to Cirrus. Insane. Once again. And I'm like, we can do a video about why can't we grow a pair and go and experience these things as well. Yeah. So that's now my next sort of thought, and I'm like, when you talk about
reality,
when you talk about additional videos and like stuff and whatever else, these would be like short 10-minute videos produced a bit better than just sort of sitting in a room.
That thought originated from somewhere. Bro.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it didn't just...
It's something I would want to watch.
It's something that I would also pay attention to, bro, but I'm more sitting on the mindset and the thought process that was involved. Like, where did that thought come from? Like,
no idea.
It got planted there somewhere.
Somewhere, yeah.
Something happened in Dez's mind.
Yeah.
And I know a lot happens in that mind of yours.
That's why I'm bald, bro. It's all the heat.
Like,
it's all the heat I generate.
To the club. But something happened.
Yes.
And some chemicals formed and blew this thing up. And that's where every good idea comes from.
Yeah.
It's just a thought.
Yeah.
But turn it into reality.
That's the plan, man. That is the plan.
Yeah.
Dude, thank you so much for coming on again.
Amen. Good stuff, bro.
You came out lekker early, so I mean it was dark when we arrived.
Listen, I was pumped for this.
Lekker,
I was
bro.
pumped.
Yeah. I know we both. I mean, I was up from 4 this morning already, so like it's like
try
pull in
a
it.
Newborn.
Yeah. People keep saying. I feel like I just have. I mean, I do the hours already, so if I've got a kid, I'll just have a partner to come along with me.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
no, cool,
it looks
man.
good. Thank you so much. Definitely we'll have you on again. We'll chat more, dive into stuff and whatever.
Yeah.
I think there's space
an
for
hour
people
is not
to...
enough anymore, eh?
No.
Look, there's a lot to unpack, and I would love to come back if you would welcome us.
No, we'll definitely do it again.
And we'll see where the next episode takes us.
Lekker, bro. Cool, man. Sweet. Grow a pair.